This is GT the Vibe Podcast coming to another episode. Man, so I was talking about Proverbs 31 woman the other on one of my prior podcasts, and it kind of got me thinking, man, what has happened to relationships, man? Man, the divorce rate is high. People want to get married is low. Like it's what has happened? And so I just started to kind of just think, man. And so I came up with a couple things that I think happen, a couple issues that I see, and gender neutral on all my stuff. I mean, obviously, I will speak to men and I will speak to women separately if need be, but gender neutral on all my stuff. I, I think number one, social media has caused some issues because you got to think about it like this, man. Everything's at the drop of at the click. If you click, you're gonna see my background. It's my babies. If you click on that there, right there, it opens up an array of stuff that you probably don't need, right? So other people are in your relationship, right? And this is a gate. This is a gateway into your relationship. That friends are another gateway into your relationship. As a married person or as in a relationship or single people, if you're a married person and you hanging out with a whole bunch of single people, that's a gateway into your relationship. Like that's you're opening up the gates of the floodgates of shit to happen in your relationship. You got to be able to hang out with married people too because you don't relate well to single people anymore. Once you're married, you don't relate well to single people. It just is what it is, right? Married people relate better to married people. Single people relate better to single people. That's just how it is. So friends have an effect on whether or not your relationship will work. If your friends don't like the person that you're with, what if your friend has a crush on the person that you're with? There's so many different aspects, and you never know. And my mom always told me you never know about a person until you know, until it's time for you to know. She always said it to me. I always thought, man, mom, what you talking about? But then as I kind of thought about it through the years and realized what she was saying was even the people that are in your circle, you don't know until you know. So just because somebody's in your circle don't mean a whole lot, right? This just means that they're just there. Anybody can be, Satan could be in your circle with you too, hanging out, kicking it with you, dapping you up. You'll never know. Another thing I see that ruins relationships: attention seeking behavior, just validation. I'll say validation. The overwhelming need for this generation for like it's crazy because when you think about our grandparents, me, I'm 35. I'm gonna tell you I'm my age because I don't give a damn. I'm 35, and so when I think about my grandparents, like grandmama didn't need no damn validation. Grandmama was handling business, feeding all the kids, feed the whole block. The house was always taken care of. Now people need validation, so they got to post pictures online for clicks. They or they need somebody to tell them that they look good because they don't feel like they can tell themselves that they look good, or they don't feel good themselves. So I need somebody else to tell me I look good because how I feel about myself ain't good enough, right? Validation seeking, right? That's what people and people that and the problem is there's so much mental health stuff that's undiagnosed that people are just walking around with that they don't even realize that they got a deficit as far as validation goes. That they don't feel good about themselves, so they need somebody else to tell them that they're good, and so they go out and just seek it. And my mom always told me, my mom gave me some drops some wisdom bombs on me when I was younger. She always told me, she said, if you get validation outside your home, you have to keep leaving your home to go get more. Validation should come inside, so you ain't got to go nowhere. Because if I get validated from this cup right here, when I run out of validation, I need to go back to the cup to get some more. Do I want to keep going back to the cup to get some more, or do I want to find my own well, right, where I could get my own validation? And I think that's a huge. I mean, honestly, I think that's the biggest one out of all the problems that you see out there. Social, because that plays into the social media usage, like the overuse of social media, because people need validation. People will literally be at home on their phones constantly because they need validation. Like they're unvalidated with their life, right? Envious of others' lives, so they get validation from seeing what other people are doing. So validation, I mean, huge, 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 right? We have to be able to validate ourselves. A healthy individual can validate themselves. They don't need to go out here and have somebody else tell them they look good because they know they look good. They don't need to go out here and act like they're a person that they're not because they know that the person that they are is good enough, right? If you have to go out and act like something different, or you have to come in and act like something different, if you have to shape shift, that's because you, my friend, don't like who you are and you cannot validate yourself. And people who can't validate themselves, they got to get validation from somewhere. So they're gonna go out and get it, right? And a lot of times in a relationship, the people that you get validation from won't be the person in a relationship with. Their validation ain't good enough. You need to go. And what happens is the hunger. It's a pain in your stomach. You know when you're hungry, when you haven't eaten for a long time, you get that pain in the middle of your stomach. Feel like your stomach touching your back. That's what my boy Wallace used to say. Man, I'm hungry. My stomach touching my back. So you get that mindset, and so now you're hungry for validation. Now you're hungry to get validated. I need somebody to tell me that so I can feel good, because you don't feel good yourself. And one of the reasons why, and one of the reasons that I believe, and this is my perspective on it, that when you're in a relationship, that person is not the one that can give you the validation that you feel like you need, right? It's because you've never allowed that in your life. You've gone through relationship after relationship where you've never allowed the person that you're in a relationship with to be the one that gives you validation. So that's not on them. It's not because they won't give me validation. He won't give me validation, or she won't give me validation. It's not that. It's not that they won't give you validation. It's that you never allow them to be able to be the ones to validate you. You've always needed external validation, and if you always need external validation, you don't need to be in a relationship. You need to do your thing on your own, because you won't always be seeking external all the time. Huge mental health, huge, huge issue. There's so many people walking around out here that are unhealed with big wounds, and hurt people, man. If you're hurt yourself, you're gonna hurt the other person. No matter how much you love somebody, you can't undo what's natural, what nature has done. You can't undo it. So no matter what you do, you can't undo what is your nature. And so if you have unhealed wounds, you need to fix that. You need to go fix that. It's not your partner's job to fix your unhealed wounds. I couldn't put that on nobody. I can't be like, well, I got childhood trauma, so you need to fix it for me. No, I got childhood trauma, so I need to fix it for myself so that way I can be healthier for you. How can you pour into somebody when your cup got holes in it? You guys ever try to fill up a cup with holes in it? Didn't work out so well for you, did it? And that's people are walking around with a cup that their emotions, their feeling, their being has holes in it, and they're out here filling their cup up with a whole bunch of other people's stuff. You ever had a cup? You ever tried to mix water, apple juice, orange juice, Pepsi, Coke, Diet Coke? That's what people that want external validation are doing. They're putting all these different validations into their cup. They got a hole in it anyway, so it's draining out. But they're mixing up so much different stuff that they can't actually be pure. Because pure is one thing; it's got one ingredient. The most pure things out there have that one ingredient. They may add some little. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of this to that, but water is the most pure thing on the planet Earth, and it literally is just water. There's nothing else in water but water itself, right? And water is authentic to itself. You can't be an authentic person, so how can you be in a relationship with somebody and you can't even be authentic? Like you got to be able to be authentic to be in a relationship. How you gonna not be real, but you're trying to have somebody else be real? A lot of times people will not be real with themselves, but they be trying to make somebody else be real, right? Or they don't possess the ability to be real with themselves, and that's honesty. Honesty with yourself. It's easy to be honest with everybody else out here, but it's hard for people to be honest with themselves. How do I critique myself in a way that I can grow? Because if I grow, then the relationship can grow, right? And so you got people walking around here with their mixed drinks, some nasty mixed drinks, of a whole bunch of different types